Hey, Attorney Montgomery here. So listen, there are no days off. We all know that. But I did take some time off because I needed to. I think as an immigration practitioner, these are very sad times in our country, and I needed to take the time. So I've had some time. I'll share with you guys later in the coming months. But for now, let's get to these weekly immigration updates. So, what I can tell you is that the Supreme Court continues to embarrass us. Truly embarrass us. So, judges had placed an injunction to prevent the Trump administration from doing random raids in LA. And it went before the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court ruled that Trump could continue with these raids. And essentially what these ICE raids are is they can essentially racial profile somebody. That means that if they look at somebody and they deem them to be Hispanic, speak Spanish, be African, be an immigrant, even classify them based on where they work and what kind of job they do. So, for example, if you're a farm worker, they can do what's called roving patrol raids. And just, I think you may be illegal. Let's check you out. They can walk up to you. They can pull up on you as you're driving, pull up to your job, pull up when you're picking or dropping your kids off at school. That's essentially what the Supreme Court has allowed the Trump administration to do. And so when I say that this Supreme Court is bought and paid for, people feel some kind of way. They're bought and paid for. They took an oath to adhere to the Constitution, and yet they allow this administration to violate so many different constitutional clauses. It's heartbreaking. With that said, that's what's going on in LA. So if you're in Los Angeles, we're praying for you. We're rooting for you. Be vigilant. Be mindful. And that's where we are. All right. Now, more bad news. A decision by an immigration appellate board, which is called the BIA, they have affirmed that the Trump-era policy permitting the denial of bond hearings to immigrants who entered without authorization should be allowed. Meaning that if you entered into the country, you've been here 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. If they get you, they can hold you, and you will not be granted bond. That's not what the policy was and had not been for a very, very long time. But as of Friday, that has changed. So essentially, it has put millions and millions of individuals at risk to be held without bond indefinitely. They have taken it out of the hands of the immigration judges. And only ICE can make a decision on whether you're allowed to have bond. And only in very, very extenuating circumstances will ICE give bond. Our understanding is that the recommendation or the policy is not to give any bond. So that's where we are. So if you are here in the United States and you entered in without inspection, we call that EWI. If you fall under that category, you're not going to be permitted to get bond if you're detained. So you'll have the option to put forth your defense in immigration court and allow a judge to make a ruling on that defense, or you can be deported. Now, number 3, asylum restrictions for victims of domestic and gang violence. So apparently, according to Attorney General Pam Bondi, they have narrowed the criteria for asylum, particularly limiting protections for those fleeing domestic abuse or gang violence. So before, if you were in a domestic situation in your country and you fled to the U.S. To avoid not being caught by your domestic partner or your ex-spouse or whatever the case may be, they have now removed that as an option for asylum. So now they must meet stricter standards to qualify, potentially increasing denials and appeals. Unheard of. Unheard of. Now, TPS ruling. Protections continue, thankfully, for Venezuelans and Haitians. So on September the 5th, a federal judge in San Francisco blocked efforts by the Trump administration to terminate TPS for over 1.1 million Venezuelan and Haitian immigrants. The appeal court blocks the use of Alien Enemies Act for deportations. As you know, the Trump administration has been trying to invoke this 18th century Alien Enemies Act to deport alleged Venezuelan gang members under expedited authority, meaning not giving them due process rights, right? Just taking them, oh, you're in a gang from Venezuela, oh, you're out of here. So that's what they were trying to do. But now the courts have ruled that they have to give these people due process rights. And we're not saying that that means that they're going to be successful, but they need to be given their opportunity to present their case in court. And if it's not successful, then they will be deported. But you cannot expedite their deportation and use some old, antiquated act that doesn't even apply. We are not in wartime. It is very peaceful, some would say. So with that being said, it does not apply. Okay? So this is where we are. Supreme Court continues to embarrass us and support the Trump administration in violating constitutional rights. Bondi's ruling on asylum protection for those who really, really need it, which are the most vulnerable, which is women and children. Interesting that a woman is the one who made that ruling and made that decision. These folks are absolutely disgusting. I said it. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Detention policies, the appellate board, mandatory detention for those who entered in without inspection. Unbelievable. On a brighter note, TPS for Haitians and Venezuelans remain protected. And the court blocks the misuse of the Alien Enemies Act. So that is the update, guys. This one could not wait. I felt that it needed to go out tonight. So I hope that this information is helpful. If you find the information of value, please click the follow button. If you need us for representation, you know what to do. Check the bio, 678-601-5580. And because last week was my birthday, I got a special sprinkling. My client who I won his deportation case, he's home with his family. Have a good one.